it really comes down to funding within the Department of Homeland Security to have those resources available that they can place outside the United States. I would say that the Department of Homeland Security increasingly recognizes the benefits of pre-clearance. They see how that activates other airports that perhaps don't have international arrivals. So there is an interest. There's a shared interest within the government in expanding the program. I think our job is to help ensure that the funding is available to make that happen, and we'll be focused on doing that. Just looking for where the microphone is.
Oh, thanks, Geoff. I'm Larry Bleiberg, the past president of the Society of American Travel Writers. One aspect of the travel experience, the air travel experience that you didn't address is whether it's working or not, and when it works, and if it's going to work day to day. Last summer we saw delays and cancellations. This Christmas there was a meltdown, and I think we're all really worried about what the summer's going to look like. What sort of plans do specific plans does USTA have to address this, as far as maybe infrastructure upgrades, air travel, and then maybe legislation protecting consumers?
So we've been outspoken when it comes to the air travel system. I have no idea how our air travel system compares to that in other countries. I just know that right now it's not meeting the needs of travelers the way that it needs to. Too many flights are delayed or canceled. We have 1,000 fewer air traffic controllers today than we had 10 years ago. We need investments in staff, and we need investments in technology. Fortunately, the Federal Aviation Administration is being reauthorized in Congress this year. We are one of the most vocal voices in terms of how that reauthorization needs to proceed, having the funding for the technology as well as for the staffing. We are an outspoken voice and have become recognized as an entity that is leading the charge for an air travel system that the American traveler can count on. If we can't, and the international traveler can count on, if we can't provide that predictability, people will choose to stay home. So I am increasingly optimistic that the message is getting through. The one upside of a bad situation is now everybody knows there's a problem. And we certainly saw that in the summer of 2022. And I am concerned that there will be too many hassles this summer, but it's part of a process. It's part of a process of getting the funding we need. I'm optimistic that that's understood within Congress, and we will see improvements. I will say the airlines themselves are making, I think, important steps here, right? Some of them have chosen to reduce capacity in areas where they recognize the system can't handle more capacity. That's going to help the traveler experience. In terms of protecting the consumer, I think the best thing we can do for the consumer is build a functioning air travel system. There's a lot of talk about fines and fees and other things that the government might want to put in place. My suggestion would be fix the problem, and then we don't have to worry about fines and fees. So that's what we're pushing the federal government to do.
Geoff, we're close on time. We'll take the final question.
Okay.
Hi, Mike Baginski from Travel Industry Today in Toronto, Canada. You mentioned 4 barriers that you saw to traveling here. I would suggest there's a 5th one, and it always seems to be the elephant in the room, and that is the gun violence and the gun laws, or lack of them. I personally know people that are afraid to travel to the US because of that, because what they see in the media every single day. And I personally know people who did not come to this conference because of that very reason. If you could comment on that.
The issue is obviously one that is heartbreaking and gut-wrenching for many Americans. One that many of us struggle with. I guess what I would say about it is that public safety and travel go hand in hand. There is no way to increase travel if people have concerns about public safety. So one way or another, if our goal is to strengthen travel, if our goal is to strengthen the economy, then one way or another we need to find solutions to public safety problems that give people confidence. Those are the discussions we're having, those are the discussions we will continue to have, but I can't stress enough, public safety and travel go hand in hand, and we need to find ways to give people the confidence that they can travel safely. Thank you, I appreciate it.